Hey everyone, welcome to this video. Here we're going to talk about what is making Viva Connections the next game changer for Microsoft Teams and SharePoint Online's love story that already exists. In this video, we're going to talk about the feature that I was desperately hoping Viva Connections would have, and I'm so glad to announce that it is possible, but let's leave you hanging a little bit until we cover what exactly that is. So if you haven't heard of Viva Connections, it is the ability for you to be able to embed your SharePoint intranet directly inside of Microsoft Teams as a pinned app on the left-hand side. What you're looking at right here on the background is a Microsoft Teams instance where we have our intranet Pulse embedded as a app, and that is really the power of Viva Connections. What's really cool is you're able to really navigate throughout the intranet site just like you would be able to right from SharePoint, and you can really build this out and get all your really cool intranet features or SharePoint Solution Portal features right into Microsoft Teams. So you're staying with your chats, you're staying with your activity notifications from your teams when you're at mentioned and all of that stuff. Great, awesome. Viva Connections was so exciting for us. I actually stayed up until midnight on March 31st when it was released. So why I'm doing this video though, because I know there's already a bunch of other videos and blogs out there about how to set up Microsoft Viva Connections, is because we found that you're actually able to extend it outside of just your intranet. So what I've done on the back end is I've went ahead and I've deployed 2 Viva Connection apps to our Microsoft Teams app catalog. And what that means, if you're not technical or you're not in a Teams administrator role, is basically we just deploy the Teams or the Viva connection twice. We just point it to different SharePoint URLs. That's where the real power comes in here. Microsoft released hubs a couple years ago, and they were really trying to push us to the hub direction. So you have a hub for your HR portal, you have a hub for your sales portal, and all of those different things that we've been working on setting up throughout these years. But with Viva Connections, we were going to be limited into our intranet as a whole. So if you had set up something like a project management hub, you weren't going to be able to access that unless you added it as a link directly from your main intranet. And I know some people don't really need that. But then you also limit your users and kind of the capabilities of what you're doing inside of Teams with SharePoint, locked into what the whole organization needs, maybe not just a few. So let's say you're an insurance company. Your adjusters probably need a different set of SharePoint sites on their day-to-day basis than your marketing team or your HR team. You really want to be able to target what we're deploying in Viva Connections to those specific people. So I'm going to show you how we do that today and show you why I think it's going to be the game-changing feature that comes from Viva Connections. So like I mentioned, we're already in our Viva Connections here. It is just another app, so you're still able to take advantage of all your teams and all of that. Oh, I did not pin that. Let's go ahead and pin that. So we don't have to have our users do this. We don't want everybody to come out here and have to pin this, but we also want to be able to deploy different Viva Connections apps to different users. That's really the key, what we're focusing on here. So you can still navigate through your teams, your calendar, and all of this, and this is going to all be blank because it's just a demo, but you can still get right back to your SharePoint site and take advantage of all that hard work that we've spent years building out on SharePoint. So how do we do this? Well, again, you'll just deploy another Viva Connections app, and that's actually going to get you 2 apps inside of your thing here. So we've just got our default apps. I'm going to go ahead and show you. I've already deployed our project management hub. So I've got this project hub, which is published by Couple Technology. That's just us that we're doing some testing and things like that. And what we're able to do now, like I said, we want to force this into certain users. So I know we want to set it up so Lydia has this automatically shown inside of her Microsoft Teams application, and I don't really want to put the burden on her to go ahead and do that. So if you do have Teams administrator rights, go ahead and follow along if you have a demo tenant. If not, then you can reach out to your Teams administrator and they should be able to help you with this. But it really goes into like the architecture of how we should be planning this, providing our employees or our users the best possible experience while they're inside of Microsoft Teams, but not forgetting all of the power that SharePoint and the other Office 365 features has. So what we're going to do is just set up a new app policy, and we're going to call it Project Managers. And then in here you can select whatever settings you want, but we do have to do two things. We need to add an installed app, and we're going to actually add both of them. So I'm going to add the project hub, and then I'm going to add Pulse. And then I'm going to show you on two different users, one that should not have it installed, which is Grady, and then one that does already have Pulse installed, which is Lydia. And basically now we're saying that we're going to go ahead and install this for these people, but let's go ahead and add it to their left rail inside of Microsoft Teams as well. So project, we're going to add Project Hub, and then Pulse. Once we click add, then we're going to be able to order these. And I know there's a lot of discussion about what's best here. I know most of Microsoft demos actually has their intranet all the way at the top. I personally like to leave activity at the top just because that's where your users are most familiar going to find their activity. And activity is important. You need to be looking at that first. First thing when you come into work in the day, you got to check what messages you may have missed. Hopefully, even though we're working from home, you're still taking some time off at night. But so I like to order it like this. You can order it however you want, maybe even have a discussion with other people before you deploy this. But once you click on save, that's when we'll be able to really set the magic to happen. So now that we have this new app policy, we can set it up to where we deploy this to Lydia. And then we'll also add it to Grady as well, just to make sure that we can show you both examples. So now that's automatically happened. Let's hop back over to Teams. We do have to sign out and sign back in or your users won't get this. So it's a good thing to have like a communication for the organization once you do push this out, to have your users sign out and sign back in to get their changes. Let's see when this comes back up. Let's do Lydia. So Lydia H at readiness.com. It helps if you spell it correctly. And then it's going to prompt me for the password over here. I'm going to type it off screen. And then once Teams comes back up, you'll be able to see that those two apps are going to show up for Lydia in the order that we set. And she's also going to be notified that her administrator has installed some apps for her. So once it gets loaded, we will see this change. So like I said, we've got Pulse, our intranet at the top right below activity, and we've got our project hub right below that. And Lydia gets a notification that says your IT admin has added a new app. Now, this is where the power really starts to shine with Viva Connections that they didn't really talk much about at Microsoft. So we've got our intranet, so we can go to whatever site we want to go here. Even though they're recommending that you go to your home site, you don't have to go to your home site. You can actually put in another URL and it can get you to that site as well. So we can see here we've got our project hub that we can now start taking advantage of and making sure we're managing our projects, updating our project managers, or if we're a project manager, we can come out here and we can check the status of all of our work. But now we can do that all from the central location of Microsoft Teams, which means that we don't have to leave this app to go back to SharePoint and find what site we need to go to or where the link was. We can do it all from Microsoft Teams. And what's really cool about this is you can actually target different of these Viva Connection apps to certain users. So you can say all of sales gets this Viva Connection app, and then all of HR gets this Viva Connection app, and really start driving some really great user experiences and bridging that gap between Microsoft Teams and SharePoint Online, which even though Microsoft Teams comes with the SharePoint Online site on the back end, it doesn't get much love yet. I know they're working on it, but it really is still just the Files tab, and then you can kind of add some pages or other document libraries. This brings the full experience into Microsoft Teams for our users. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you've got some ideas flowing about what you can be doing with Viva Connections in your environment. And if you have any questions or would like to see another one of the install videos, I can link you to one, maybe one that Vlad did. or I can even get you a video that I can do myself. I'm just trying not to put any duplicate content out in the world. So thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video.